Welcome to a new tutorial for the CSV / QBO to IIF Converter. Every time I make a video, I always add more stuff and I have to make another one. So this is the latest one for version 3.8.3. So when you first open the application, obviously you get this welcome dialog. But after you hit OK, it asks you to specify an account for the uncategorized transactions. Much like my app has always been forcing you to use Premier Debit Offset or Premier eCorp Debit Offset, you can now specify your own account. This is the account where you import into, say, your checking account, but you have not yet specified what that transaction is, like, for instance, cell phone. It goes into kind of a holding account. We can go in there and work with all the ones that have not been categorized. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Cancel. Well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and set mine to Premier eCorp Debit Offset. All right, so that's set. So let's go ahead and load a demo file. You could also load a QBO. Mine's in CSV, so we're going to use that. Let's go over to Documents. We'll go down to Demo, and here's my demo. At this point, if you just want to convert this to IIF and throw it into QuickBooks, simply just do a select all, convert, choose if these are all credit card or bank transfers, credit card transfers, and then specify your account here and click set QuickBooks import account. Mine's personal checking, so we're going to use that. We're going to do bank, okay, and we're just going to say export test. And it's going to say it's going to be imported into personal checking. Now with this, you can just take this CSV file or this IIF that it just created, go over to QuickBooks, do an import, and you're set. But today, I want to show you something better above this, and that is the pattern editor. So let me show you how this works. We're going to go ahead and click on Create or Edit Pattern. Now first, we're going to start with how to create a pattern file, but briefly, I'm going to show you that, but then show you how to use this instead. You're going to find this a lot better. So we're going to say create. At this point, just give your new pattern file a name. We're going to call this, let's call it pattern test. And as you notice, when you open it up, it's empty. So let me just kind of give you an example with just one transaction. For instance, what to match. That is the name of the transaction you wish to match. I'd recommend copying part of the name, not the whole name, because all of this could change. This probably won't. So we're going to match Hy-Vee, and we're going to replace it with Hy-Vee. Now, this account could be anything, could be a toothbrush, toothpaste, food, creamer, can opener, I don't know. I usually handle this one after the fact in QuickBooks, so don't specify an account at the moment in here. But when you click on Add to List, it will specify the account that you specified at the very beginning of opening the application. I specified Premier eCorp Debit Offset. You'll notice when I add to list, that's what it's going to use. So we're going to go ahead and say yes. So really that's it. You're going to go through and specify what you want to match with the name and the account it goes into. And I'll show you that more here in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and close this. And let's use the import feature. So I have a test QuickBooks account. Now, when I finish and actually import it into QuickBooks to show you what it looks like, we're going to be using this one. You can see it's empty. But for now, we're going to take our test account. Now, this can be your checking account or your business account or your credit card account or whatever you want to export all the vendors out of and all the accounts out of that you've been using for a long time. Yeah, so this one only goes back just to the month of October or September as a test. So here's what you do. You go to Print. And we're going to go back to September. Hit OK. It's just September. That's all that's in there. And we're going to say File. And we're going to save it as Tab File. You can hit Print. It's going to say where do you want to save it. In this case, we're going to go ahead and just save it to our Documents directory. We'll just drop down. Let's just do this PC. We'll just type in Documents. Yeah. All right, we'll just do Libraries. We'll just do Documents. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as tab export. Again, oh, did I click on the wrong one? Print. Let's go over here and we're going to choose 9. Oh, my bad. It should be 9 of 23. Let's try it again. All right, we're going to save this as tab export. All right. So now in the app, you just choose import. And we're going to choose our tab export that we just exported. And you're going to notice, and it wants us to save the file now as our pattern file. And we'll just call this one test, just test. Actually, it should be a bit more descriptive, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to call it test. Now you're going to notice, I guess that's the folder, test again, whatever. You'll notice now it brings in every vendor and every account we used on this account. Now you can imagine that if you were to export back 10 years, you'd have every vendor you've ever used for 10 years and every account you used for 10 years. So let's go back to this. Now we're going to take Hy-Vee. So let's do a search for Hy-Vee. Now this is the name I would always use in QuickBooks because we took it out of QuickBooks. And we're going to say, well, what do we want to match? That one. Now every account, what to match, comes in with this little pound sign in the front of it. That way, if you had 500 transactions that automatically matched, you'd have automatic matches randomly. This prevents it from matching anything until you come in here and just either take it out of there or rename it. In this case, we're going to say Hy-Vee, and we're going to say update. That one's done. Now, PayPal. Let's do PayPal. Now, PayPal always goes into online payment services. PayPal, everything's pretty much the same. In fact, PayPal matches PayPal. So all we got to do in this case is just remove that and mark that as a transfer. And update. Now, transfers are orange. So if you have a list of 500 or a list of 10, you can see which ones are transfers. Let's do our Visa payment. Now, most of the time, my cell phone's the only thing on my Visa payment. It's $37.96. But it could have other charges too some months. So it's not always $37.96. But I figure on the months when it is, let's have it match that number and always categorize it as my cell phone. So here's how we do it. Since Visa's already in here, at least I think it is, we'll do Visa. And that's exactly where it should go. We just need to remove that and give the amount to match of $37.96. Update. And match by amount is green. All right, we've got 2 more left. Let's take my Premier Communications. Now my Premier Communications was not in the export just now, so we got to create this one from scratch. But it's also 2 transactions that I usually split in QuickBooks. So here's how you do a split. First, let's match, and let's just match that. And we're going to match that and replace it with Premier Communications. First, amount 1. This is our first split. My telephone's $31. And because we didn't do this one, the account's not also there. So we're going to copy and paste. Actually, I have it over in a notepad ready to go. That is our first split. So now if we take our amount of 140.22 minus 31.40.22 minus 31, our next amount for my actual internet will be 109.22. And that goes in to internet service. So every time you import your bank statement and every time Premier Communications shows up, it will automatically split it. You may have to come in here periodically and update these numbers as your bill goes up. But this thing will automatically handle a split for you So as if where you imported into QuickBooks, it's already split. Pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and hit add. In this case, it was not already over here, so we got to add it to the list. And if you're splitting a transaction, it says just leave that blank because it will for you. Replace it with the word split. So we're going to say yes. And split transactions, they're purple or blue, whatever you want to call it. I think it's purple. So if we open that up, you're going to see it puts a split. Now, new item. This last one is my deposits. I deposit online, and so they're already done. They're already in QuickBooks. If I were to import this right now, I'd have duplicates of every deposit. So, I mean, yeah, you could go through and just uncheck these so they don't import, but this app can do it for you. Just take what you want to match. Deposit. And since we're not importing it anyway, I don't care what I call it. We'll call it deposit. And the account. All you gotta do is type in the word ignore. Add to list. And that is it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to close this and pretend this is our monthly bank statement. We're now going to load the pattern file, which I should remember is inside test. And voila! PayPal is automatically in, it's already marked as a transfer. The online payment puts them in the right account. My Hy-Vee, I got to handle that one later. That one and that one. My Visa is already in my cell phone, and my Premier Communications is already split. So let's go ahead, and what you would normally do in this case is select all except ignore, and it automatically ignores the one that says ignore. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and convert, and this will be a, well, actually we got to cancel that. This is demo. Set as account. And we are going to convert to bank. Okay. And we're going to save it to my server. Just going to do, we're just call it, what do I want to call it? Let's call it test. Test.iif. And save. Yes, sorry, there. We're going to replace it. Sure. And it tells us it's going to go into the demo account. So let's import it. Let's see what we got. Now, obviously, we're going to be at a negative amount because this is just a test account, but this kind of shows you how it imports. So we're going to go here, go up to File, Utilities, Import IIF. And I always do this one. You can use this one if all the accounts already exist. But what I always find is it leaves the names of the deposits off. I don't know why. But this one works just fine. I'm going to choose Import. And on my... Oh, wait, we're already there. It's going to be W test IIF. And open. It's been imported. Now give me a second to move this off the screen to open our demo file back up. So you don't see all my account balances. And here we go. So Hy-Vee's Premier Debit Offset, that's assumed. Premier Communications, if we open that up, that is already split. My Visa's already done. So the only two transactions I have to handle is just the Hy-Vee and tell it what it was. How cool is that? So now, in my case, when I import 50 transactions every month, I now have to handle about 9. Walmart, Amazon, and Hy-Vee. Ones I have to handle by hand. But that is just an example of how easy this program will make your life. Thanks for watching.